Hey, it's Bob Negen, and in this episode of Real Retail TV, we're going to explore how to be the kind of business people want to do business with. So recently, I bought a couple of things at our local health food store, The Health Hut. And these two things illustrate a point I want to make about being the kind of business that people want to do business with. So a few weeks ago, I went into the Health Hut. I bought a bunch of stuff, including these two items, a Lafia Everyday Shea Body Lotion and a Now Sports MCT oil. And I got home and I was looking around and I couldn't find these two things. And I thought, man, that's weird. I know I bought them, but they're not there. But the next time I went into the Health Hut a couple days later, I said, hey, last time I was here, when I got home, a couple of the items that I thought I bought weren't in my bags, and I'm wondering if I might have left them on the counter, if they're in the back, did somebody say anything? I was inquiring about my purchase. The guy said, no, we don't have anything in the back. I don't know anything about it, but let me look it up. He said, do you know what was missing? And I said, yes, I do know. I went and I grabbed these two things and I showed him. And he looked it up in his POS system and he said, yeah, is this your invoice? I said, yes. That's my invoice. I remembered all the other things I bought, and he said, well, here, just take them. Clearly, you bought them. I know you've been in here before. Great. Good for him. That's the kind of thing that makes me want to do more business with the Health Hut. So I was recently at a business conference, business meeting, and I was having dinner with a bunch of people, and I was speaking to a gentleman who was from England, who is now a U.S. citizen. And he shared a story. He said, Bob, when I came to America, the last thing my dad said to me, he knew I was going to be involved in business. He said, son, I don't know if he said son, but anyway, his statement was there are two kinds of people in business. There are people who want to make money with you, and there are people who want to make money off you. And the fact that Health Hut, replaced my items, no problem. They didn't make me write anything down. The fact that they trusted me makes me want to do business with them. If you've been part of this community for any amount of time, you know the concept W.W.M.C.W. What would my customer want? And I can tell you that people want to be trusted. That when somebody comes in and has a complaint or wants to make a return or just has an inquiry, they want to know that you are on their side. You see, and when you show that trust, you will engender the kind of loyalty that will make you a lot of money. So it could have been, they could have very easily justified saying, no, I'm sorry. You bought it. I don't have it in the back. Sorry. Would you like to buy it again? They could have easily done that and logically justified it. I wouldn't have been angry, but it certainly wouldn't have been a deposit into the emotional bank account. And I can tell you that their cost involved with these two items, they will way more than make that up from me because they trusted me. W.W.M.C.W, what would my customer want? I'll tell you what, I want what they did there. So I just really want you to think about this idea of W.W.M.C.W and trusting your customers and giving your customers what they want. You know, when I first introduced W.W.M.C.W at a Retail Success Summit, I don't know, 5 years ago, Hope Birch, one of our favorite people and clients, loved the idea so much that she went back and made custom engraved bracelets for all of her employees, so that whenever they were on the floor and they had any doubt about how to behave with a customer, they would ask themselves, W.W.M.C.W. How would my customer want to be treated? How would they want this situation handled? Now, I know some of you are going, well, a lot of times my customers are unreasonable. Yes, that happens every once in a while. But what I want to share with you is never let an incident create a customer unfriendly policy that punishes the many for the bad behavior of the few. You see, when you love your customer, the money will follow. And there's a tendency to be protective, to protect the margin of the transaction, not to protect the lifetime value of a customer, not to protect the lifetime value of that relationship. And I just really wanted to come in and show you these two things before I return them to them with my hearty thanks, just to sort of get you to hopefully think about this idea of love your customers, the money will follow. Trust your customers, and they're going to reciprocate with their loyalty. Loyalty translates into dollars. Loyalty translates into word of mouth. Loyalty translates into all of the good stuff that you get to do as an independent brick and mortar retailer. So, that's that. A lesson from some body lotion and an MCT oil. And I would encourage you to take this episode of Real Retail TV and to watch it with your team and to ask them about situations that may happen in your store. And then ask them to help you come up with this idea of W.W.M.C.W. When in doubt, trust your customers. You know, really get them focused on the idea of W.W.M.C.W, loyalty and lifetime value. So I hope that you find that helpful. I hope that you find that thought-provoking. I hope that you'll share that with your team, because loyalty equals money. Loyalty equals all the good stuff that you get to do as an independent retailer. All right, I'm Bob Negen. If you have any questions or comments, stories about how you have treated your customers in that W.W.M.C.W kind of way, please put them down below. I'd love to hear about them.